can get from here to Liverpool, Birmingham, London, Reading, anywhere. You can almost get to Weston-super-Mare by now. You can get all the way down to Bristol. Yeah, here on my right, these red brick buildings, this is Magdalen College. In fact, we've been passing Magdalen College the entire time we've been in the boat. We were passing their gardens just back there. And on my left, the opposite side of the river, quayside, where you were waiting earlier, most of these buildings, Las Iguanas, Prezzo's, Benedetto's, these buildings are owned by Magdalen College. They actually rent these buildings out to the different companies to raise revenue for the college. That's how a lot of the colleges make money. It's not unusual for older colleges to have land, significant amounts of land, in Cambridge or around the country. The colleges were, when they were started, when each was started, they were meant to be financially independent. For the most part, they still are. They do work together. The university is made up of 31 colleges. 8 of them are along this river. The first one we can see, this is Magdalen. We're still passing it now. That red brick building up ahead on my right, that's the Lutyens building, designed by Henry Lutyens, a famous British architect. He designed the Cenotaph Memorial in London, and he's also famous for designing a very famous building in India. I can't remember what it was. I couldn't tell you everything I know in this tour. I wouldn't have enough time, and even then, there's still a lot I don't know. At Magdalen College, they specialise in architecture. I've only learned that recently. I think they actually own this building here as well. There's an architect studio. I mean, each college prides themselves in a particular subject. That's their specialty. Architecture for Magdalen. But you can still do any course you want there. All of the colleges do the same curriculum. They just have more room for students of their chosen profession. Yeah, these boats on my right, chained to the side of the river, these belong to Magdalen as well. Notice how they have the same markings. Magdalen College has 3 boats for their students to use. They can rent them out more or less for free, but it's only so popular in the summer. Yeah, all 8 of the colleges have boats for their students. Magdalen only has 3. Some colleges have a lot more. Ahead of us, we're coming up to St John's College. It's both sides of the river up ahead now. We're going to go right in between it. This is the second biggest college. They have a little over 900 students here. That channel on my right, leading off in the river, that divides Magdalen land behind me from St John's ahead of us. It actually goes into St John's private hunting harbour. Nope, sorry. Sorry, I should have warned you. I was not quite
Tudo acontece com o Guilherme.
Here we've got these willow trees.
Ooh.
This is where we get paracetamol from, aspirin, willow bark. That's how you used to. Back in sort of medieval times, you'd make willow bark tea, and that would help get rid of a fever. It wouldn't do anything against pain, but that's how you get rid of fever. Willow bark contains salicylic acid, one of the key ingredients of paracetamol. But willow bark tea also tastes disgusting because of all the other stuff that's in it, so it's only when they're able to make it chemically and synthesize for paracetamol that it was actually more useful. Yeah, all this ivy on my right, this building with the green and red ivy, this is almost, this is the new court building. It's almost entirely student accommodation. There's room for 200 students here on my right, this stone building. It's built in 1831, along with that big bridge directly ahead of us, with the bars on the windows. They're both built in 1831, over 300 years after the college started. Very few of these colleges were all built in one go. So you can see different dates on the buildings showing when they were added on. So yeah, on my right, this was built in 1831. On my left, the red brick buildings are the older parts of the college. You can see just here, the date at the top on the side of this building here, 1624. That's St John's Library. The initials on the front of it, ILCS, that stands for I Love Cambridge Students. Is anybody going to call me out on that, or? Nah, it's Latin. Those symbols are Latin. It's something, keeper of the seal. It's a reference to the Bishop of Ely, title of Bishop of Ely at the time in 1624. He started that library for the college. Historically, many of the old colleges were either started by wealthy members of royalty, hence King's College and Queen's College further on, or by wealthy members of the church, hence St. John's. So, yeah, this is the Bridge of Sighs behind me that we just passed under. Named after the famous Bridge of Sighs in Venice in Italy, even though this bridge looks very different to the original. I mean, this side of the bridge has a lot of very nice carving, so we'll get another good view of this in the return journey. The far side of this bridge that we saw earlier, it's not actually quite as well carved. It's very easy to see this side of the bridge, not so easy to view the opposite side, so they never bothered to do so much work. I mean, the kitchen bridge ahead of me, this is actually designed by Christopher Wren, the same architect who designed St. Paul's Cathedral in London. He built this is built in 1710, and he has a date of this bridge. So this was built before the bridge behind me, so it gave a good viewing point. Now if you look at my left, just here where I point on the column, if you look about there on the same side, on the opposite side, if you look at the column next to you, you'll see the flood marks carved into it, about a metre away from you. On March the 14th, 1947, the river flooded that high.
Ooh.
That was a big flood. Interesting few days of punching back then. Apparently during the floods, some people actually turned up to hire boats, and then instead of returning and paying, they just punted off home out of the fens and stole the boats by using the floodwaters to get home.
Ai, meu Deus, não tem. Tem outra? Então tira outra. Acho que ficou melhor, né? Seu filho é folgado pra cacete. Folgado pra caramba. Tá filmando, deve ser. Eu também. Olha. Ficar aqui não é bom não, hein?
Vocês aí. Sorriso.
Here on my right, if you have a good enough sense of balance, you're welcome to stand up for a few moments just to get a better view of this building in the photos. I mean, we saw the back of this building earlier with all the ivy. This is the front of it. I mean, how's that for student accommodation? That's for second year students at St. John's.
Segura o João pra mim, por favor. João! João!
Don't worry.
Esse prédio aí é só acomodação de estudante. Acomodação.
Eu vou tentar ir.
Senta, João Gabriel.
Dado com o dedo, hein, filho? Na beirada aí.
João, não pode botar a mão pra fora.
Yeah, that's St. John's College behind me, the second biggest. And the largest college is Trinity College, on my left. They're the largest college. They have a little over 1,000 students. They have total assets in excess of £2 billion. This is England's fourth largest landowner. This is where Isaac Newton studied. This is by far the greatest college.
Aí, João, aí que você vai estudar. Onde estudou o Newton.
Não põe a mão pra fora.
Conheceu a Kate também? Estudaram aqui?
Essas fofocas de que estudou.
Deve ser, porque ela é de Cambridge. Aham.
Ele deve falar.
Não tem.
Meu celular tá aqui no livro, tradutor preta.
Tirar selfie aqui.
Aí, ali.
No, we won't walk. We can turn around.
Vai sair brigando, hein?
O Guilherme, o Olavo ia tirar foto.
Tira aí a selfie.
Ah, você tá tirando?
Eu ia tirar, mano. Pode tirar.
Pensei que estivesse tirando de vocês aí.
É aqui que faz a curva, né?
Não,
Não?
não deveria ser.
But yeah, one of the reasons that Trinity College is so big,
Só passou colégio.
this was Henry VIII's college.
Passou
Started this back in 1546. He poured huge amounts of land and money into building it. There were